Two gardeners drive off on holiday. On day 3, both watering timer boxes lose power. The first comes home to thirsty tomatoes and an apology to make. The second gets a phone call from the water company and a bill for £400. Same holiday, same power cut. Opposite disasters. The difference is one question nobody asks in the shop. When your watering timer dies, does the water stop? Today we find out which way your box falls. Your box falls. Here is a thing engineers know that most gardeners never think about. Every machine fails eventually, so good engineers do not just design the working, they design the breaking. They pick which way the machine falls before it ever leaves the drawing board. A lift has brakes that grip the rails by spring force. Electricity holds them open. Cut the power and the brakes bite on their own, and the lift stops where it is. A fire door works the same way. The magnet holding it open dies in a power cut, and the door swings shut. In both cases, somebody decided that when things go wrong, the machine should fall towards safe. Engineers call it the failure mode. Not whether it breaks, but the direction it breaks in. Choosing that direction well is half of safe design. Now walk down to the tap in your garden. There is a valve in that timer, and one day, mid-season, its power will run out, batteries fade, cables get cut. It happens. And that valve has the same two choices as the lift. It can fall shut and your garden goes thirsty, or it can fall open and the water runs until somebody notices. Which way did the engineers point yours? It is not printed on the box. And to make it worse, there is a third answer the lift never has to worry about. So let us take them one at a time. Answer 1. Fail closed. Think back to the ordinary solenoid valve from last week. A coil pulls the valve open and has to keep pulling the whole time the water runs. A spring fights it every second. That hunger for power is exactly why we laughed at it last week. But look at it again with today's question in mind. The moment power dies for any reason at all, the spring wins. Slam, shut. The greedy design and the safe design are the same design. That is, fail closed. It is mostly what you get in mains-powered irrigation controllers, the boxes wired into a garage wall with valves out in the ground. The power cut that kills them also closes them. So what is the worst case? A dry garden. You come home from your fortnight away to drooping pots, some crispy leaves, and an apology to make to the tomatoes. It stings. You may lose a few plants you raised from seed, but the failure ended the moment it began. Nothing ran, nothing flooded. The bill did not move. As failures go, this is the polite one. Remember it, because answer 2 has no manners at all. Answer 2. Fail open. The valve dies with the gate up, and the water simply keeps going. To feel the size of that, remember one number from episode 3. A standard garden hose pipe can put out about 1,000 liters in an hour. Not a burst pipe, just a hose running. Now let me tell you about a gardener over in America who lived it. Their smart timer jammed in the open position while they were not looking. It ran for 2 full days, 48 hours. The water company rang them to ask if everything was all right, which is never a good sign. The bill came to $400. And no, the exchange rate does not make it better. So how does a healthy valve end up stuck open? 3 ways. 1. Grit. A flake of limescale or a grain of sand wedges the works, and the valve cannot seat. If you live on hard water, you have met this flake before. 2. Software. A smart timer waiting on a cloud that stopped answering can sit there holding the gate up all night. And 3 is the sneaky one. It is not a jam and not a bug. It hides inside the cleverest battery timers of all. The ones with the latching valve we praised last week. Because the very trick that makes the batteries last all season also changes how the thing dies. Answer 3. Stay exactly where you are. Remember how the latching valve works. There is no spring pushing back. A small magnet grips the valve at either end, open or shut, and holding a position costs nothing. Power is only spent at the moment of change. Last week, that was the hero of the story. Now look at it in a power cut. A valve like that does not fall anywhere when it dies. It just stops changing. Whatever position it held in its last living moment, it keeps forever or until you come home. So the real question is not which way it falls, it is what time it died. If the batteries give out at midnight with the valve resting shut, you get the polite failure. A thirsty garden, nothing worse. If they give out 10 minutes into the morning watering, the gate is up, and it stays up. And here is the detail that should make you sit forward. A latching timer only spends power at the pulses, so a weary battery does not slip away quietly in the night. It fails on the job at a pulse. The pulses come in pairs, and the open always comes first. A battery on its last legs can manage the open and have nothing left for the close. The dice are loaded towards the gate you did not want. Dead batteries do not stop the water, they stop the stopping. Now, none of this matters much on an ordinary Tuesday. You are in the garden anyway. You hear water running at the wrong time. You frown at it. You turn the tap off. At home, a stuck valve is an incident. It costs you an hour and a story to tell. On holiday, the same failure has nobody to catch it. That is the whole difference. A fortnight in Spain is 336 hours of nobody frowning at the wrong sound. The water meter does not know you are away, it just counts. And think about when we actually travel. You fit fresh batteries at Easter when the season starts. The spec on mine says a set lasts 6 to 8 months of typical daily use. By the time the August holiday comes round, those Easter batteries are deep into that window, still working probably. But you are about to leave the one machine that can fail expensively unwatched for 2 weeks on its oldest legs of the year. Most of us do exactly that without a second thought. I did it for 2 summers. Nothing went wrong, which is the worst kind of lesson. So let us build a habit that fixes it. Before every shift, a bus driver walks around the bus. Lights, tires, doors, mirrors. Not because we expect a fault, but because the cheap time to find one is before the wheels turn. Your timer deserves the same 5 minutes before you travel. Here's my walk around. 5 checks. 1. Fresh batteries. Full stop. Not checked. Not probably fine. Swapped. It is the cheapest insurance this series will ever offer. Fit the new set the night before, and let the old pair retire to the kitchen radio. 2. Watch one complete cycle before you go. Start a short watering and stay for the boring part, the ending. You are not checking that the water starts, you are checking that it stops. 3. Photograph your water meter on the doorstep as you leave. If anything misbehaves while you are gone, that one picture turns a mystery bill into evidence. 4. Show a neighbor the outdoor stopcock. Mine is Mrs. Doyle. She has a key and one instruction. If you hear water running and my car is gone, turn the red handle. That is the entire briefing. 5. If it is only a weekend and the week is mild, consider the boring option. Turn the tap off at the wall and let the garden cope. No pressure behind the valve means no failure worth the name. An established boarder will forgive you 2 days. 5 checks, 5 minutes. Cheaper than the phone call. A word about the kit on my own tap, because this episode is the reason I am fussy about batteries. I run the Johgee 4-zone timer, 4 outlets, each on its own schedule, and the app warns me when the batteries drop below 20%. There is a manual button on the body, which is what I use for check number 2. 1 press for a real cycle. Watch to the close. But let me be straight with you. No battery timer is exempt from the physics in this episode. mine included. The warning shortens the odds. The fresh set before you travel is what closes them. And if you only run 2 or 3 pots, a 9-pound mechanical timer is honestly all you need. It winds itself shut, so it fails closed by clockwork. So what does that mean for your garden? It means the question was never whether your timer will die one day. Batteries guarantee it will. The question is which way it falls, and whether anybody is home when it does. 3 answers. Fail closed. The spring slams the gate and your plants go thirsty. Fail open. The gate jams and the meter counts. And hold your position. The latching timer's habit of finishing exactly what it was doing when the lights went out. You cannot change the design of the box on your tap. You can absolutely change the state it is likely to die in. Fresh batteries before travel. 1 watched cycle, all the way to the stop. A photograph of the meter. A neighbor with a key. Choose your failure before it chooses you. And the worst case shrinks back to a few thirsty pots and an apology to the tomatoes. Next week, a different noise entirely. That deep clunk in the pipes when a valve snaps shut in a heartbeat. It is called water hammer. It rattles taps, it shakes fittings loose over the years, and it has a fix. That is next week. If a bus driver doing a walk-around check on a plastic box is your sort of thing, subscribe, and bring a friend who has never once changed their timer's batteries. Right? That is the route for today. See you on the next one.